Good evening, everyone. I would like to call the Monday, March 24th, 2025 Blue Springs Planning Commission meeting to order. Please rise and join us in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. All right, can I get a roll call?
Commissioner Cradoff, Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Sanderson,
Present.
Commissioner Howe,
Here.
Commissioner Ingersoll,
Present.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Present.
Commissioner Graham, Commissioner Pumphrey,
Present.
Chairperson Henning.
Here. Thank you and welcome everyone this evening attending and those watching from home. Tonight's agenda consists of the minutes from the last meeting, a general development plan for Seven Brew, a PDF site plan design review for Hyper Energy Bar, and a master alternative sign plan for Tim Hortons. At this time, I would entertain a motion for the consent agenda for the last meeting on March 10th.
So moved.
I have a motion, I have a second.
Second.
Second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? And that motion carries. Next up, I will open the public hearing for item number 2, which is the General Development Plan, GDP 02-25-9484 for Seven Brew. At this time, I'll ask for exhibits from our city attorney, Josh Newell.
The city would like to enter exhibits 1 through 8.
Thank you, Josh. All those that are here that would like to speak about this project, in favor of or opposition to, please stand and be sworn in.
You solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, so help you God.
I did.
All right. Mr. Chris Willis, you got a presentation for us about Seven Brew.
All right. Thank you.
Thank you.
Again, my name is Christopher Willis, Associate Planner here at the City of Blue Springs, 903 West Main Street on behalf of the city. So before you this evening is a request approval of a general development plan for Seven Brew Coffee. The subject property is addressed 400 Northwest Highway 7, consisting of 0.41 acres. The development includes a 510 square foot pad site building with a 2-lane drive-through to be built on an unplatted parcel located in the General Business Zoning District. The demolition of an existing building on the property will take place before the construction of the proposed pad site building, and there will be future applications such as a preliminary plat, site plan design review, and a final plat that will be at a later date, and a final plat recorded at Jackson County prior to the issuance of building permits. In regards to zoning, the property is zoned, again, general business, GB, and the proposed land use of a restaurant, fast food is allowed outright in the GB zoning district. All right, and then the general site layout. The site is proposed to be developed in a single phase. The development proposes an ingress point from Highway 7 at the southwest corner of the property, where my cursor is, an egress point just to the north of the property, where customers will exit the site and drive through a brief section of the adjacent shopping center parking lot and turn right onto northbound Highway 7. No new sidewalk will be constructed as a part of the scope of this project. There's gravity sewer located on site and the surrounding development. The scope of this project did not require a traffic memo, stormwater study, or installation of stormwater detention on site. It is in the GB zoning district, so designated open space was 12%. Utilizing the pad site building standards, all standards have been met in regards to setbacks, height, building coverage, etc. And just to give you a little closer look at the parking, we're going to look at this western property line. All right. So the applicant's proposing 5 parking spaces and 1 ADA space for a total of 6 spaces. The site's only required 5 spaces due to the small square footage of the proposed fast food restaurant. There are 22 stacking spaces available for the drive-through, and the drive-through is the primary service area for customers. The applicant intends higher usage frequency of vehicles at the drive-through rather than parking spaces. You guys will look at the landscape plan here. Applicant is proposing a landscape buffer along the western side of the property. The buffer will consist of sod, mulch, and a combination of trees and shrubs for screening purposes. This will help shield Highway 7 from headlight stacking in the drive-through. Buffer B, there were 21 units required and 33 units were provided. Street trees, 2 were required and 2 were provided. All right, I'm gonna give you guys a look at the elevations here. The site includes a single-story building. The building is proposed to have a combination of midnight and shale brown colored fiber cement along with accents of blue and zinc gray metal siding. The building and site design are of course required to meet the non-residential standards in UDC 407.090, and final building and site design will be reviewed more thoroughly at the site plan and design review process. The general development plan is consistent with the comprehensive plan. However, 2 alternative design standards were requested from the UDC. The first is for the landscape buffer as far as the width. And the first alternative design standard has been requested to allow for a reduced buffer width of 14.79 feet. The required was 15, so it's just under that. And just to give you a little more information, the applicant has provided measurement from the back of curb, not the property line. Allowing the existing buffer dimensions to remain as is will allow for optimal site circulation and overall better utilization for the space of the entire site. And the second alternative design standard was for the photometric plan to be waived. The applicant has stated that no overhead lighting on the subject property will be removed, and that the review of outdoor lighting be waived with the understanding that 1, flickering and flashing lights are not allowed on site. 2, if proposed overhead lighting is needed for construction, it will be applied for in the future. And staff has determined that waiving the requirement of photometric plan is acceptable, as lighting for existing development surrounding the site was planned and approved, and no additional lighting is proposed as a part of this project. Staff has reviewed the criteria for a general development plan, alternative development standards, and is recommending approval with 2 alternative development standards and 2 conditions, and I'd be happy to answer any questions you might have.
Any questions up here for staff?
I do.
Okay.
The parking lot that Hobby Lobby and Office Depot are in, who maintains that? Who's responsible for that?
I would assume it's the property owner of Hobby Lobby. I can't confirm that with an actual ownership right in front of me, but I can follow back with you to give you that absolute answer.
Okay, and the only reason why I ask is if the egress is going to be leaving Seven Brews property and going
Right.
through Hobby Lobby's property,
Right.
we're talking a lot more wear and tear, and that parking lot's not the greatest as it is.
Okay.
So I feel if that egress is gonna be not Seven Brews' responsibility, then something needs to be addressed with that property owner of that parking lot. Or we're gonna see a lot of potholes, car dings, a lot of complaints.
Okay.
That's all I got.
All right. Thank you, sir.
Chris, could you show us how cars are gonna enter and exit this site? Are they gonna enter and exit both from the public parking lot and then use
My-
existing cutout access points to 7 Highway?
My understanding is that they will come in off Highway 7 and ingress directly from Highway 7 at
Okay.
that southwest corner, follow through the drive-through line, and then, given that there's not a separate driveway cut over here, that they will jut through this portion of the adjacent property and then again turn right onto Highway 7.
That's my concern right there.
Yeah, understood. That's something staff can follow up on.
Yes, sir, we will definitely follow up with you on that.
Any other questions for staff? Is the applicant here would like to speak briefly about the project? Have you been sworn in?
No, I wasn't sure if I was going to be speaking or not, so I.
All
I
right,
didn't.
well, since we're doing a public hearing, we do need to get you sworn in.
Solemnly swear the testimony you're about to give in this case will be the truth, so help you God.
I do.
Please state your full name and your address, please.
My name is Andrew Wilson. I'm from 1408 Shalimar Road in Edmond, Oklahoma.
Thank you.
And about the traffic circulation, you can ingress and egress on the north side, but that's actually wide enough to be a two-directional kind of access drive. So you can come back to the south and exit out where you ingress. I don't know if that helps clear anything up.
I think that creates more of a problem than it presents.
Chris, can you zoom in on that, please?
Absolutely.
Like, I like one in, one out on drive-through only stores. I think that's efficient. And we've got a couple places that it's in Blue Springs that are not, that are in and out on one, and it creates a major problem sometimes.
All right. We'd be willing to modify it. But I do know that the owner has some kind of communication with the northern owner, and they could probably work out some kind of easement situation, but
Thank you. Anything else?
just happy to be here.
Okay.
Let me know if you have any
All
other
right.
questions.
I will say I'm excited about Seven Brew coming.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, it looks like
So-
you've got plenty of stacking for vehicles. And I've always liked the colors. Looks like a nice place.
All right. Thank you.
All right, is there anybody in the audience who would like to speak in favor of this project? Anybody in the audience that would like to speak in opposition to this project? Seeing and hearing none, I will close the public comment section. Anything else from staff
No, sir.
or the applicant? Or the commissioners up here?
No, sir.
Nothing else? I'll close the public hearing. And I would ask for a motion on the general development plan.
Chair,
Yes, sir.
I'd move to approve General Development Plan GDP 02259484 for 7 Brew with the 2 staff conditions.
I have a motion, about a second.
Second.
Second? Could I get a roll call, please?
Commissioner Pumphrey,
Aye.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Aye.
Commissioner Ingersoll,
No.
Commissioner Howe,
Aye.
Commissioner Sanderson,
Aye.
Chairperson Henning.
Aye. This motion passed. It will be recommended and heard by the city council at their Monday, April 7th meeting at 6 p.m. Next up is the agenda item number 3, which is a PDF site plan design review. PDFS 02-25-9485 for Hyper Energy Bar. I understand Ms. Fry has a presentation for us.
Maybe.
Thank you.
Okay. So this evening, I have before you is a request for approval of a plan development, final plan and site plan design review for Hyper Energy Bar. As you can see on the screen above, it is going to be located, we had to address it, for 1286 Northeast Coronado Drive. And this area is currently zoned a general business plan unit development with the restricted overlay of Adams Dairy Parkway. And will encompass approximately 0.65 acres. And so the proposed development features a 629 square foot building that will have 2 drive-through windows and a 1 walk-up pedestrian window, which will be constructed in 1 single phase. The site has 2 access points along Northeast Coronado Drive, one to the east of the development, which is the drive access here, and then the other one is the 1 access point via private drive Northeast Adams Dairy Landing, and that's the private drive that's a shared access to all tenants within the Adams Dairy Landing Shopping Center. The property will feature an existing 5-foot ADA compliant sidewalk, which you'll find out here on Northeast Coronado Drive. It actually wraps all the way around on the east side of the development. And as you can see, the developer is going to have a connecting sidewalk, We'll have a connecting sidewalk that will connect this whole development all the way to the walk-up pedestrian window. And at this time, there will be no other public improvements necessary. The proposed building is classified as a commercial pad site, and it meets all the required setbacks for this current zoning district. The vehicle parking requirements have been met based on the number of employees at the highest given shift and for the pickup window. The site will include 11 stacking spaces, and there is not an order box. It is just a straight order pickup window. And then there will be 3 regular parking spaces that meet the required standard, 1 ADA compliant, and 2 bicycle parking that will also be provided. The plan illustrates the internal pedestrian access point, ensuring compliance with the UDC required sidewalk width. The 5-foot sidewalk connects the existing sidewalk on Northeast Coronado to the walk-up service window along the building frontage. Additionally, sidewalks in front of the proposed parking area will also feature a 6-inch curb, concrete curb for the parking. Excuse me. The proposed final landscaping complies with the UDC requirements. The trash enclosure is properly screened and all buffer requirements are met. To minimize the headlight impact, since there is an drive-through access that's going to oscillate to this way from the east and then to the west, they did some heavier landscaping along this side to protect Northeast Coronado from headlights that will be sitting in the drive-through. And so to minimize that impact, they've added substantial landscaping at the drive-through area. The proposed building is a 629 square foot building that will incorporate decorative metal panels and a stone veneer, creating a modern, efficient aesthetic with a vibrant atmosphere. Its compact modular design includes a dual drive-through lane for enhanced functionality, and all materials will comply with the non-residential design standards of the UDC. On March 21st, 2025, the Appearance Review Board reviewed the plans and approved the site plan design review with a compliance to the Adams Dairy Parkway overlay. Staff recommends approval of the plan development, final plan, and site plan design review, subject to the 3 conditions listed in the staff report. And I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions from up here? Is the applicant here? Come talk to us about your project.
Good evening, Dan Finn, civil engineer with Phelps Engineering, 1270 North Winchester, Olathe, Kansas. Not much more to add. Happy to bring or answer any questions you guys have. We're excited to bring this concept here to Kansas City. Started in Des Moines. They've had success up in Des Moines. The unique thing about this site, which you probably saw, is they do have a dual drive-through with 1 drive-through on each side of the building. So it's a little difficult at first for people to get used to, but they found that people really do enjoy that. It gets people in and out of the stacking quickly. It gives them the opportunity to have 2 pickup windows instead of 1, and it really limits their stack. And so this will be one of the first of hopefully many here down in Kansas City. I'm here to answer any questions you may have.
This is the first in the Kansas City metropolitan area?
There is currently 1 through the entitlement process, Olathe, 2 in Overland Park, and 1 in Belton. So they're looking to open about 5 this year, including this one.
Thank you.
So as a side note to this, it's not coffee, is it just energized drinks?
They have energized drinks, they have coffee, and then kind of light snacks. So it's a
Okay.
little bit of a combination.
Okay. All right. Any questions for the applicant? Thank you very much.
Thank you.
If there's nothing else from up here, I would entertain a motion.
Chair,
Yes.
I'd move to approve PDFS 02-25-9485 for Hyper Energy Bar with its 3 conditions.
I have a motion. How about a second?
Second.
I have a second. All those in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? That passes. Moving on to the next and last agenda item is the Master Alternative Sign Plan, ASP 12-24-9431 for Tim Hortons. One more presentation, Ms. Fry.
So before you this evening is a request for an amendment to the master alternative sign plan for the proposed Tim Hortons Coffee located at 1900 Northwest 7 Highway. The pole sign was originally installed for the former Backyard Burgers, which has been classified as a non-conforming pole sign since the business has been vacant over 6 months. The pole sign is also non-conforming due to the location of the business, which does not comply with the requirements outlined in Sign Code Section 501.060C2A. The applicant is requesting approval to allow the continued use of this existing non-conforming pole sign. The proposed non-conforming pole sign, is approximately 80 square feet for the sign portion of the Tim Hortons up here to the top. And the property does not abut any of the I-70 corridor or any of the frontage roads located in that corridor. Staff does not believe this request is warranted for the following reasons. Per Sign Code Section 501.060C2A states that if the property is not located between the Interstate 70 and frontage roads, and the property is neither within 400 feet of the I-70 pavement edge, excluding on and off ramps, nor positioned as close to I-70 as possible while complying with all other location requirements. As it stands, this property, the location of this sign is approximately 3,069 feet from the I-70 corridor, which is roughly almost, what, a mile?
3/4.
If I had to
3/4
count.
miles, yeah.
So it has been an effort of the city to remove pole signs located outside of the corridor. The proposed signage is not appropriate for the time, place, and manner since it is located outside of this corridor and cannot be visible from the I-70. Staff does not recommend approval of the master alternative sign plan application, and the applicant is here for further questions, and I would be happy to answer any questions.
Any questions for staff before we hear from the applicant?
Chair, I have a question, please.
Yes.
What's the comparison between Backyard Burgers and this sign? Is it approximately the same?
It's everything is the
Same.
same. So the pole, nothing's changing except for business.
The business name?
Yeah.
Thank you.
Chair.
But,
Oh,
but code has changed since Backyard Burgers went
Yes.
in, and we no longer allow
The pole signs that outside of the
I-70 corridor.
corridors. So they've been asked to move it when Tim Hortons took over the property, so.
And Tim Hortons is asking for
The
an exception
variance
here.
to have, or the approval to have this sign,
To keep it.
to keep it, so they
the way
don't
it
have
was.
to tear it down.
one additional question. Is this application inclusive of the rest of the signage package? Meaning, like, are we voting on the full signage package plus this
No,
difference, or just the
it's
alternative?
just the pole
Just the pole
sign
sign
itself.
itself.
Yeah,
Okay.
their other signs went through administrative already, and
Perfect.
so they've
Okay.
been approved.
All right, thank you.
I have a question.
Yes.
Who are we asking to, who's gonna be removing this if we say it needs to be removed? At whose expense is this gonna be?
It will be at the expense of the business, Tim Hortons.
Okay.
Anything else? All right. Applicant.
I've been sworn in.
It's not a public hearing, you don't need to. But please tell us who you are.
I'm Roy Brown, architect, 24 Oak Hill Cluster in Independence. Tim Hortons is a bakery and a coffee shop from Canada, and this is the first one of 3 in the Midwest. The next closest ones are in Ohio and somewhere in Texas. And when the company purchased this property, they were not aware that this sign could not be refaced. The one that's located on Woods Chapel Road did not have this issue. And so then the 6-month time period went, and they were caught off guard, apparently. So I realized that this may not be the place for all of the arguments that one would put before the city council, and I understand exactly why staff was not able to approve this, and I don't know whether you can approve it, but I'm going to give it this young architect is going to give it the old college try. The key here is visibility. This is a commuter-dependent business, and people are going to be very interested. Tim Hortons, what's that? I've heard of it. Let's check it out. And so they're driving westbound on I-70, and they know that it's going to be on 7 Highway, so they proceed north on 7 Highway. They get over the hill, and they don't see anything if that sign is gone. If the sign is there, oh yeah, I think there was a Backyard Burger there at one time. So there's also the aspect of competition with the Tim Hortons on Woods Chapel Road. So another issue would be this could introduce commuters to other businesses that exist on North 7 Highway. For example, the scooters on South 7 Highway is doing very well because people can see it, but the scooters on North 7 Highway is not doing very well. And this could help the scooters on North 7 Highway. Somebody says, yeah, I think I'll just have coffee today. Or the next time, well, I think I'll have some bakery item and a coffee. So I think it could help that way. And the other signs were approved by the city and were delivered either today or they'll be delivered tomorrow. And we don't want to have to wait 3 weeks to go before the city council. And I don't know whether you have the ability or the right, but I'm hoping that we can save 3 weeks and you could approve this, but that's your call, not mine.
Well, let's get that question answered first. Is this going to the city council, or is this our decision?
It will be your decision, but he has the right to appeal.
Okay. So there's your answer on that.
Okay.
Technically, the decision that we give will be final. It's not going to be continuing to be heard by the city council, but
Okay.
you'll have the right to appeal.
And of course, you know that this will increase the tax base, but that's not something that you guys usually deal with. So I think that's everything I had. Are there any other questions that you might have?
Any questions for the applicant?
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, Roy. Any further discussion from up here? It pains me to have this before us under these terms of recommended denial because of the circumstances and the time frame and so forth, and I'm speaking on myself as an individual planning commissioner here. I do have a hard time going against the rules because when you set a precedence of allowing something, then it tends to set an unhealthy precedence for the future. But yet, I'd just like to state it does pain me because this is business and this is what we need here, and this is the city of Blue Springs and the city of working collaboratively and cooperatively, and this is a tough one for me. So that's my comments. Anybody
Well,
else?
I have a question also. He made a comment that the city didn't say anything to them when they bought the business. Can you explain that?
From my conversations with Mike, because that took place before I even started here almost a year ago, they were advised that that pole sign was non-conforming.
That they were advised it was non-conforming.
Which means that they would not have been able to use it.
And that would be somewhere in our documents.
It would be with email traffic from Mike.
Okay.
What was the 6-month time frame? If they had to,
It would have had to been, so if Backyard's Burgers, if it had only, the problem is the vacancy, it was over 180 days by the time that they got the property.
Okay.
And because of that, then that's why they can't use the sign.
if they had bought the property 20 days after vacation, then this sign wouldn't be an item, an issue?
Yeah, it wouldn't have been an issue.
Okay.
They would still have to come ask, but it would have
Certainly.
been, yeah,
It would have fallen under the parameters of it being okay.
yes, yeah.
And it's not a matter of owning, is it, the clock that starts ticking, is it ownership or is it application for usage? Do you know that?
Ownership.
It's ownership,
Mhm.
okay.
I'll weigh in. My take is, I think with the goal of minimizing pole signs, there's kind of rare opportunities to reduce the amount of pole signs on 7 Highway, and I think we need to, my opinion is to take advantage of removing one and reducing the number of them. So I'll be voting to deny.
I'll give another minute if anybody has any more discussion about this before we move forward. And again, this is for denial, so I'll go ahead and call for a motion to see if somebody wants to make a motion for approval.
Sure, I'll make the motion.
Yes.
I move to approve ASP 02-25-9475 for Tim Horton.
I have a motion for approval.
I will second it.
And a second. Can we get a roll call on this, please?
Most definitely. Commissioner Sanderson,
Nay.
Commissioner Howe,
Aye.
Commissioner Ingersoll,
Nay.
Commissioner Stokenberry,
Aye.
Commissioner Pumphrey,
No.
Chairperson Henning.
Nay. And that does not pass, correct?
That is correct.
Okay. That is all that we have on the agenda for this evening. Is there any other business from up here or out there or anywhere? All right, well, seeing none, I would entertain a motion to adjourn.
So moved.
A second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Any opposed? Thank you all very much.